Hey, my name's Josh and I take photos, and today it is very, very rainy outside. So I thought we'd just do a chill video where I talked about some of the photos I've taken in the rain or in cloudy conditions. So starting off here with this photo I took in Perth. As you can see, it's this lady here with her phone. And there's a few elements going on in this one. So we've got these three different textures in the background. And as you can see, got this nice grainy texture here, a little bit more of a soft one here, and this kind of blank one in the back. And I thought that would make an interesting background. So as I saw this lady walk past, I noticed she had a bit of a barcode on her phone, which is a little bit interesting. So I took a picture of that one. And another striking part of the image that I saw was actually her hair and her hands. So you can see that really nice texture. It looks really nice in black and white. And on her hands. And I also added a little bit of grain just to kind of bring out some more of that texture and give it more of a grainy kind of feel. So as you can see, this is what I've done with the image. This is what it looked like before and after. So before, it was kind of, as you can see, the weather wasn't very nice. There wasn't very flattering lighting. So I've just brightened it slightly. And of course I've made it black and white. So as you can see, I did brighten a little bit, I added some contrast, I turned down the highlights a little bit as well. The curve hasn't really been touched at all, and I did mess with the temperature. I'll show you what I did with that. As you can see, the image is very blue. I just did that as a creative choice because I liked the way it looked with the low temperature, and I knew no one was going to see it. Of course, now you have seen it, but that's what it looks like with that color temperature all the way down. Cropping wise, I just cropped in a little bit to kind of get the phone onto the 2/3 lines and kind of make some empty space for her to walk into, because the behind her wasn't really adding to the image at all, so I decided to just take it out. Didn't do any erasing or any masking in this one, just a really simple image, and I was quite happy with how it turned out. Next up we have this image here, which I took in Fremantle, and as you can see we have this guy up here, very interesting looking guy. He's got a nice earring there and some cool hair, nice little hat, pointing rather upward if you ask me. And as you might notice, I have flipped this image the other way around. I did that because it looked a little bit off. I prefer him walking left to right rather than right to left. But that does mean that in the puddle, the writing is actually forward, not mirrored. So if any of you had noticed that, pretty good noticing. So I found this really clear looking puddle on the streets of Fremantle, and I thought that that would be a good place to take a picture of someone walking past. So I set up my camera with this down the middle line, and I just waited for someone to walk past, and this guy looked pretty cool. So I took a picture of him, and as you can see in the puddle, it's a very, very clear puddle, just a few little speckles and leaves and stuff in the water, but that's okay. I think it looks quite nice. And of course I did turn it black and white. This is what it looked like originally. As you can see, very, very cloudy conditions, no interesting light, so I find that when there isn't much interesting light, you just have to make it interesting yourself. So I did turn it into black and white, and that does enhance the image quite nicely, I think. Nothing too big with the edits around here, just some nice exposure, contrast. I didn't really mess with the highlights or anything, just flat curve. And I did, of course, turn down the saturation. Cropping wise, I just cropped in a little bit. Before, it was quite a big image, as you can see. I really wanted to hone in on the subject, so I did just end up cropping it to that, and I do prefer that, but if I ever have to print it, I might just print the entire thing to get some more pixels. Don't know if you can hear that. The rain has started. See if I can get you up there. That's the air conditioning vent, and the rain coming through the air conditioning vent. Next up we have this picture of this person here walking down the edge of the road, and you can see I used that same puddle there, and I think they definitely have different vibes. This one's more whimsical, I think, and this one's more grungy, but I like how the subject's kind of tilted on one foot, and then the whole image kind of tilts as well, which I like. I could have fixed that in post, but I liked how it was kind of off. Kind of adds to the mood. And as you can see, I didn't really do much to this one, just increasing the exposure a bit and the contrast. Just the sort of stuff you do with black and white photos. Didn't really touch the curve that much. And this is what it looked like before and after. Again, the lighting wasn't that good that day, so that's what you gotta do. Continuing on in Fremantle, we have this one of the famous container cranes. And as you can see, I found these two trees that perfectly framed with the train station. And I think Fremantle is definitely known for its pine trees, its train station, and like sheds, and its cranes. So I think this one definitely captures the idea of Fremantle quite well. And of course it is in black and white, because the weather was just a black and white kind of mood that day. As you can see, if I turn up the saturation, nothing really changes. That's because I've used a mask to mask out a lot of the other colours, so I'll have to show you what it looks like now. Okay, so this is what it looked like before. As you can see, quite hazy, got the red colour there, the trees were quite dark, and so was the shed. It was just a really dark day, and very cloudy, as you can see. So to make the image interesting, black and white, I've brightened the shadows a little bit. As you can see up here, the shadows are all the way up, just to add a little bit more texture in the pine needles there, as you can see. I didn't touch the curve, and erasing wise, I didn't really do much. And masking, I actually did do some. I masked this here, and that was just a desaturation mask to desaturate all the colours. I don't think I had to use it because I did end up desaturating the whole image, but before I was more focused on keeping the colour of the sky. So as you can see, we do still have some of the blues in the sky, which I quite like. Next up, the only real colour image in this collection, we have the same guy from the other picture before, this guy here. I happened to get him twice by accident. He's just an interesting looking guy, I suppose. I found him sitting on a bench. I promise I'm not tracking this guy. It was a complete accident. I found him sitting on a bench behind this car, and you could kind of see him through the window. And I did have my polarizer on me, so I did take the picture through the window, and I tried to get rid of as many reflections as I could, but as you can see, the reflection of the building in the background did remain, which kind of obscures the subject a little bit. If I had have gone back, I could have used the stamp tool over here to kind of bring back the darkness of the hat, but I thought it was just part of the process of kind of having imperfect images, so that's okay. As you can see, I've kept the blue colour of the car here to kind of draw the eye into it. It definitely stands out from the rest of this collection. As you can see, the other ones are all black and white. But I'll show you what it looked like before. This here. So, certainly less contrasty, and there's a lot of stuff just going on. So I think when this sort of thing happens, where the light is bad, there's no such thing as bad light. Just light that's more difficult to work with. These greens, I didn't really like the look of that colour of green, especially with the grey as well. It's just not a nice look for me personally. So I definitely enhanced the image a bit. Of course I desaturated everything but the blue here, and I also kind of saturated the blue more. I definitely brought it out, getting rid of the colour of the red. I definitely just turned everything blue, and I actually really like, you can see all the individual reflections. Sorry if you can hear the rain and wind outside, it's very, very stormy. And I really like the way it turned out. There is actually a lot going on in this image, but because of the blue here, it definitely pulls away from the stuff that we're not meant to be looking at. Like up here, that would have been catastrophic for an image if it wasn't black and white. It's just a lot. There's like a random tree stump here, there's a little bit coming up here, there's one there, a whole bunch of green. It's just not pleasing to look at. So that definitely draws the eye downwards towards the subject, and this blue complements it as well. The only thing I would have liked to change is having the sky. You can see the reflection of the sky here. It kind of cuts the guy's hat off, which is not great because he is the subject, and I'd rather not cut my subject in half. But it's a nice standout image that I do quite like. Next up we have this one, which is quite small, as you can see, because I've cropped in very heavily like that. I will show you that in a minute though. So with this one, I saw this bird flying and these children running around in my least favourite place to photograph, although I do have quite a few photographs from there now, so maybe it's becoming my favourite place. That is, of course, Forest Chase. So I've turned down the highlights all the way. As you can see what that's done, it's just brought out some more detail in the child's shirt. Didn't really mess with anything else. A little bit of contrast, a little bit of the whites. Didn't touch the curve. This is what it looks like before. As you can see, we did have a little bit of light at that time of the day, which is why I waited for the kid to kind of walk into this light here. But I just didn't think it was an interesting enough image. So I did do what I usually do and just turn it black and white. I turn it black and white when I can see the framing. It's just not pleasing to look at. And I know that I need to keep the image because there's a story to be told. And even though I didn't quite like it, I did keep it. And as I often do, I have grown to like it since I've taken it. So I'll show you what it looked like before. So as you can see, I have heavily cropped in on this one. So really it was a question of framing after the fact. But I'll show you what it looked like originally. As you can see, it is a massive image like that with a whole lot of stuff going on. As you can see, we have the Beauty and the Beast banners over here. We have a light pole. We've got this man walking here, these two kids, some people over here, someone here, this light streak like that coming down like this. And it's just a lot of stuff, and there's also the new Apple Store in the background too. It's just a lot of stuff, which is why I cropped in so heavily. If you want to see the rest of this collection, just leave a comment and I can add them in a follow-up video. Anyway, enjoy your day, and hopefully the rain goes away soon, but for now, just stay warm, stay indoors, and chill out. Peace.